Harvard math professor who also dealt with Soviet spies and made over $105 billion, introducing Jim Simmons, the greatest trader of all time. In this video, we'll go through his life story and break down how he was able to accomplish some extraordinary things. Born in 1938 to a middle-class Jewish family in Massachusetts, he definitely showed an interest in math at an early age. This passion continued, and he went on to study mathematics at MIT. After finishing this, that wasn't enough for Jim. He actually wanted to pursue higher education and received a PhD in mathematics from Berkeley in 2 years. With these accomplishments, he went on to Harvard University and actually became a professor. He did this for a few years, but eventually he wanted more of a challenge, and that led him to doing something pretty interesting. In 1964, he was recruited by an intelligence agency known as the IDA, also known as the Institute of Defense Analysis. And what they did was they created a team of mathematicians to crack spy codes. And although Jim Simmons didn't have experience doing this, while he was there, he learned how to develop mathematical models to interpret seemingly meaningless data that was pretty revolutionary in this field. He created a groundbreaking algorithm and developed a system to crack codes. It was around this time where Simmons actually began to gravitate towards the world of finance, where he wanted to approach the market in a different way, using statistics and math. Considering his background, this made sense. At that time period, the typical way of analyzing the charts was with fundamental analysis, but Simmons wanted to use price, volume, and volatility, ultimately creating an algorithm, what he did in IDA. What he didn't know was he was actually going to revolutionize a whole new field known as quantitative analysis and literally be a pioneer to a new industry. Fast forward 10 years, it's 1978, and at the age of 40 years old, Jim Simmons launched his first hedge fund, Mathematician. His goal was to utilize statistics and data to interpret the markets. He recruited Leonard Baum, an old colleague at IDA, to be his partner, and ultimately, these guys were both geniuses, so it worked out well. Baum went on to create the Baum-Walsh algorithm, and what it would do would analyze a chain of events from the past to predict future probabilities. A few years passed, Monometrics grew by millions, but this didn't last forever. They began to have some problems with their algorithm and actually start inquiring some losses. So the doors did close on that, but this was not the end for Jim Simmons. 1982, the next chapter begins, and Jim Simmons launches Renaissance Technologies, the hedge fund that would eventually change the world of finance forever. He believed that these systems and technology had zero emotions and would completely avoid human flaws, so in the long run, it was going to be the most profitable way to analyze the markets. So he started to feed historical data into his computer, gathered stacks of books from the World Bank, which was the major source of financial data in the 80s, and ultimately, with his team of geniuses, basically the Avengers of mathematics, statistics, physics, science, they worked together and profits began to fly in. Key players that he recruited included James Axe, and they went on to create the Medallion Fund, the most profitable fund in the Renaissance technology umbrella. He also recruited somebody named Robert Mercer, who was the key engineer for the computer company IBM, and he had tons of programming experience. He was actually able to spot some flaws in the algorithm. Altogether, Jim would go on to recruit the best people from different fields of study and absolutely crush the markets. With his new team of Avengers in mathematics, statistics, science, and engineering, Jim Simmons literally pioneered the first wave of the quant revolution, not only impacting finance, but other areas like politics, sports, education, and military efforts. What we can learn from him is that just because you're in one field of study, it is a beautiful thing when you start to merge the information from these different industries and you ultimately are able to innovate something completely new. So I'll see you in the next one. This is Nick, and I hope you got some value from this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like. I greatly appreciate it. Take care and be great.